Part of my job was to discredit and destroy critics who spoke out against the church. If the church believed that someone was an enemy and needed to be silenced or destroyed, it was my job, and I did it.
You and the Church of Scientology have been spying on the BBC.
I don't know what you're talking about. It
Nothing
seems
to do with
you're
you.
a bit paranoid.
Was I being paranoid?
No, you were being followed.
We were being followed.
Yes.
And who gave the orders to follow us?
It would have come under my purview. If I was told to follow someone, I made it happen. Everything from following them 24 hours a day to having people camped outside their home to being vilified on the internet. I was the guy.
So it appears as if they called the Clearwater police to complain of the prior peaceful picketing activity. I'm concerned that Mike Rinder wants to stop peaceful picketing under the guise of legal process.
Mike Rinder is the chief of their dirty tricks department, and there is nothing he wouldn't do or say to try to keep this criminal at the helm of Scientology, David Miscavige, in power, because Mike Rinder's power comes from David Miscavige.
Have you been served with one of these injunctions as an agent of his?
You were in court, Stacy, when that was issued. You were tested. You were sitting right there.
Well, why are you saying that?
Because you're saying that you're not on notice. So you're trying to say you're not on notice.
You were gaunt, you were wearing a gray suit, and Jillian, our assistant, gave you a nickname, which was Mr. Scary.
This question is for Mike. After you left your position with Scientology and began to expose things, how long did it take people to truly believe that you actually left? And how hard was it trying to make things right with the people you tried so hard to publicly destroy?
That's still an ongoing process, and this show is part of that process. If I can help one person who I may have harmed in the past, or prevent someone from being harmed in the future, of one family, just one, who is torn apart because of the practices of Scientology, it's worth making it known and hopefully preventing that.
Hello. Cher?
Yeah?
Look how cute it looks.
Hello.
Look how beautiful.
You look beautiful as always.
Thank you. Gorgeous.
Hi,
Sherry.
Mike. It's so nice to meet you.
Hi, Chantal.
Hi, Mike. I'm gonna cry.
So nice to see you.
Sorry.
Oh,
That's
Chantal.
okay.
Why are you crying?
She hasn't seen him in like 24 years.
It's been 24 years, and it's kind of like when you have that history of senior management stuff together, and so
Yeah.
I didn't know how it would feel.
The reason why I really wanted to talk to the gentleman we're going to talk to today is because they're journalists who are not Scientologists. They had no family members in Scientology. They had no involvement in Scientology other than looking into a story about Scientology. And each one of these stories have ended with the church ultimately going after them, fair gaming them, and trying to destroy their careers, their personal lives.
I've had direct interactions with actually all three of these guys before, when I was in the church. And I was the one that was tasked with making them the enemies.
Yeah, you fair game two of them.
Exactly.
You're a dick.
You and the Church of Scientology have been spying on the BBC.
I don't know what you're talking about. It
Nothing
seems
to
you're
do with
getting
you.
a bit paranoid.
Was I being paranoid?
No, you were being followed.
We were being followed.
Yes.
And who gave the orders to follow us?
It would have come under my purview.
Well, Mike's heard me say this often, that I used to think Mike was evil. How could you not be evil?
No,
if
he
you're
is
doing
evil.
this?
No, he's evil.
My interaction with you and with John and many other people since is to try and let you understand that it was never personal. It was also misguided. I can't excuse those things. I can only try and explain this was my mindset at the time.
No, I've come to understand that, and I've never needed apologies from you.
I know.
Because
you're not just journalists or people that I happen to have an interaction with at some time. I consider that all of you are friends of mine now, like personal friends. If ever there was a critic of Scientology, it was Bob Minton. And I promise you, no expense was spared when it came to hiring private investigators, hiring people around the world to investigate Bob and his finances in particular.
it was not a pretty ending. I saw the pressure on him every day.
It is something that haunted me for a long, long time. What I directed to be done against Bob Minton and what I did to Bob Minton has haunted me for a long time. And I am sorry for what I did to destroy him or to seek to destroy him. And I genuinely have great sorrow about what happened. The only mitigating factor is the fact that I was able to speak with him and Stacy afterwards and kind of make peace with them, but that's not made peace with the world. So I hope that to some extent this will accomplish that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
This is going to mean the world to her. Thank you.
Subsequent victims came forward since then. What would you have said back then? You're sitting in your office at Scientology, and we go, okay, so we have these allegations from these girls that are claiming to be raped, and then they were punished.
Yes,
So
because that's what everybody has done. They have blamed the victim. They have sought to explain
I know, but what I'm trying to understand...
And you're asking me, when you were back there at that time, would you have done that?
Yeah.
It's painful to look back at that and try and put myself back into that position.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that I was really any different than any of those people.
Look, you're here now, Mike. And you know what's so crazy, Mike? For the first time, I'm like seeing the other side. There's not even a moment in your mind that you're thinking you're doing the wrong thing.
The abdication of responsibility as a parent to turn over your children to the Sea Organization is probably the thing that I regret the most about the entire time I've been in Scientology. And it's so ironic now that they put my children on videos saying, what a rotten dad. He was such a bad father. You know what? They're right. I wasn't anybody's father. I was a Sea Org member.
Have you made peace with all of it? Like, all the stuff that you did?
In general terms, yes. It still, if I come across someone, an individual who has an individual story and they say, well, did you know that X, Y, and Z was happening, or this happened to me, or that happened to me? Oftentimes I have no personal involvement or knowledge of what it was that happened, but still I'm sort of like...
You feel somewhat responsible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like I owe them an apology.
It was so mentally abusive and such torment that I would never subject myself to that again.
So you get in your car, you go home.
I go home and I tell David, and David's like, you better think of your family. It's one of the first things he said to me.
Yeah.
It's like that's all I'd been thinking about for the last 5 years was my family. And the reason I want to cry about it is because Sammy has no idea. He sat there and said to me, Mom, I would do anything to save this family. That's all I was trying to do. And I went through hell to try to save that family and went through such mental brutality, as well as all the money we spent to try to hang on to my family.
Let's just stop.
Oh my God.
Let's stop for a minute. Can we stop for a second? I can't. Mary, we're gonna try to do something about it. Mary, and you're a fighter.
I know, that's what this is about. This is like, it's so hard to get through.
It's like it's the pain of it. It's just so right there, you know, it's, I don't know. This is not something fun. This is not a fun
This is exhausting.
project.
You're exactly right.
You know?
It is upsetting.
I know. I know.
We're doing our best to do something about it. It's like, what the f were we part of?
I want to say I've watched every single episode. I've loved what you've been doing. I'm getting emotional now because I've cried every single episode.
Thank you. Oh my God. Don't make me cry.
Scientology has threatened me, gone through my trash. They've had people in Nazi uniforms picketing outside my office, telling my neighbors what an evil person, that I'm an anti-religious bigot. I have to tell you, I was scared shitless of you for so many years. I love that you are modeling for ex-members of thousands of other cults that you can be a leader, you can do horrible things, and you can wake up and be a human being. A decent, law-abiding human being. That's so exciting.
Thank you.
Why did you stop that book from coming out?
It's my job. I don't have a better answer, Karen. I didn't even read it. I don't know. It was a book written by a former Scientologist, so that's bad.
Yeah. And then you wrote the forward.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Very sweet of you.
Yeah, in the forward, he said it was karmic and cathartic. And it's cathartic, by the way, to have this conversation. Seeing Mike Rinder, seeing you become the man that you have been, that you've become, has been incredible for me. It's been so healing because this is the beauty of an individual breaking free from Scientology, finding love, having a family, treating other former Scientologists with compassion, and helping them to get on with their life. When you used to do the opposite, when you were made to. And it's not until you're out of Scientology that you're free to be who you really are. So just think, this is who you've always been. It's just now uncovered, and you're free to be you. And you have an incredible wife and family, and you're helping so many people, and that gives me such joy. And I appreciate you.
Well,